any type of social work job you have, you're gonna have to do some type of documentation. So if you're not a writer, you don't like to do no type of papers and this and the third, because that's why y'all got 5,000 papers in school, this probably ain't gonna be the career path for you, honey. I'm gonna be very honest with you. Hey family, it's your girl Tatiana Moss and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I talk about sexual wellness, fashion, lifestyle, career, entrepreneurship advice. So if any of those things are interesting to you, go ahead and click that subscribe button down below so you can become part of the family too. And for all my returning viewers, hey family, what's going on? Thank you so much for coming back and clicking on another video from your girl. So today, y'all, we are finally doing my highly anticipated, because I done had a bunch of people reach out to me and ask me to do this video. But today we are finally doing my progress note video. I'm going to be breaking down pretty much everything and taking you guys step by step on how you would create your own progress note. Now, of course, everybody's company is different and stuff like that. I'm going based on how my company does things. And I'm going to also show you guys just examples of different note-taking methods for the more mental health professionals or whatnot. Excuse me, y'all. They go the route of using the BERT method, which I've talked about this several times on my channel before. And if you don't know what the BERT method is pretty much you are explaining the behavior, the intervention, the response, and the plan of action with your client through your progress note. Now, sit back, y'all, get a pen or a paper, because I'm going to take you and explain you through all of this, because I know some of it's probably like, girl, what is you talking about? So if you guys are ready for today's video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. And let's get started. All right, y'all. So the first things first, when you are writing your progress note, is simple. You have to figure out what is the kind of way your company wants you to write your notes, what type of method. So like I said, we talked about BERT, but we also talked about the SOAP method. The SOAP method acronyms comes as follow, and I'll have everything on the screen beside me here. You have subjective, which means you're describing the problem going on with the client. You got objective, which is pretty much the observations of the client and the problem, the assessment, what you summarize and assess to be the problem that's going on and how you're going to come up with a solution. And then the plan is what you're going to do moving forward and how you're going to make sure that you are planning for the next session or whatever the case may be. Now, the BERT method is pretty much kind of the same thing, and I feel like it's just a little bit more simpler and whatnot for their acronym purposes, general. And again, I'll have it on screen here. So of course, B stands for behavior. Behavior means what it sounds like. What is the client reporting that they're feeling? What are they looking like? How is their body reacting? How are they just looking in general? You want to observe and make sure that you're paying attention to all of these things when you're in the session with the client. Next, you want to go to the intervention, which is what did you do with the client? This is where you're going to talk about like the goals, the objectives, and how you were able to use whatever method or your style of doing your sessions to be able to engage the client. The next one is going to be the response, which is probably the most easiest part if you ask me, and you're pretty much just responding to the intervention portion and saying what the client did and how they responded to the interventions you did with them. And lastly, the plan of action. What are you going to do for the next session? How are you going to make sure that whatever you did in this session, you're going to keep improving and doing things in the next session? So now that we figured out how we're going to write our method of the progress note, which like I said, we're doing a BERT style, we're going to go ahead and pull up our Word document. So I done created a whole little scenario, like I got y'all a client and everything, okay? So hopefully y'all appreciate this, because I took my time with this and whatnot. But y'all ready? Okay, here's your client. So we have Ashley. Ashley is a 14-year-old female, and she has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, current or most recurrent depressive, moderate, and then she also is diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or prominently hyperactive impulsive presentation, which in shorter terms, that's ADHD if y'all didn't know. Ashley has problems with aggression, promiscuity, and truancy, and has disrespect towards authority figures. For a while, Ashley exhibits behaviors of disruption. She has aggression and isolates from others daily. She's attempted to run away and fails to adhere to rules established by authority figures both at home and school. Ashley shows difficulty establishing, maintaining peer relationships, and she also displays negative interactions with her siblings and mother at home. So now that we kind of got an idea of our client, Ashley is just mad. It sounds like she's upset. She's run away from home. She's doing all kinds of things to pretty much scream out for attention, but in the inside, clearly, this client is going through some things. And we're going to do our best to try to make sure that Ashley gets the assistance that she needs, or whatever the case may be. So today we're going to go to Ashley's house. We're going to do a session with Ashley. We're going to figure out what is going on with Ashley, what's causing her to feel this way. So one of the main important things I feel like is always good to use with your clients when you first go to their house is doing some type of emotional activity. Now, this is something very simple. I got this off this website called Therapist A. I'll list it down below. But I love doing stuff like this because it allows me to be able to understand where's the client at that day. Are they upset? Are they happy? Are they sad? This is going to be able to help you to gauge how your session is going to go. You always want to have a toolbox of different interventions you can do with your clients because you never know. Of course, you can, have in your head what kind of session you want to do with your client that day, but you might get there and your client might be feeling depressed or really sad. Now you got to switch up your whole session and do something completely different. So always just have a bunch of different ideas and things on deck of stuff that you want to do with your client. So again, like I said, something that I like to do is always an emotion-based activity first to see what they're feeling. All right, so Ashley is feeling annoyed. We're going to circle annoyed, and then she's also feeling, let's say upset. So she's feeling these two feelings. So now we're going to figure out why is Ashley feeling these two feelings. Now, some great websites and different things to write your notes or whatever as far as the clinical terminology you want to use. You can always look that up online. Here's a website, and I'll have everything listed down below and everything beside it. This is just some great words that you can use in your progress notes. You want to make sure that you're not, I have a problem with doing this, but I'm getting better at it. I type like how I speak sometimes. So these are some great terms that you can use to be able to help your notes sound a little bit more clinical. You got assisted, acknowledged, demonstrated, de-escalated, developed, directed, redirected, examined, facilitated. All of these different good words that you can use that your note is sounding as clinical as possible. So now that we got that out of the way, some ideas, we're going to go ahead and look at the layout, how the note is going to go. So we identify how the client was feeling that day or whatnot. So now we're going to go on to the next activity. So the next activity I'm going to do with this client is talking about feelings. So this is a nice game to be able to get to know your client a little bit on a deeper level, but also engage them in something that's not just a piece of paper. As you can see, it has prompts and different questions up there, but you guys can go to the Dollar Tree or whatnot. That's where I got my little dice from, and you can use your dice to be able to engage your client in this game, which I think is a really good way for them to talk about their feelings. So some of the things up here says, a time I felt sad was when, something that can get me angry is, I sometimes worry about, and they fill in the blank. So they roll the dice, whatever the number lands on, they answer the question according to that. So if you guys are interested in this intervention or whatnot, I will make sure to have that listed down below, and I'll also have it beside in the video so you guys can just kind of go along or whatnot so you can kind of see how we're going. So all right, so we did our first intervention, which was the emotion chart. We did our second game. We did the feelings. We're talking to Ashley about her feelings. We're trying to figure out how was Ashley feeling today. What's going on with you, honey? What's going on? Oh, I mean, of course I don't call my clients honey, but y'all know how it go. Anyways, the last intervention that we're going to talk about is forgiveness. So as you guys seen, Ashley's upset, she's mad, she's angry, and we're kind of just trying to work on her to be able to process her feelings and kind of figure out why she's so upset and angry. So this activity is talking about different ways that you can uncover and talk about forgiveness. And y'all know how forgiveness is much more easier said than done. But in order to be able to let go of certain things, you got to be able to forgive. And forgiveness is not for the other person, it's always for yourself. So on this activity, it says, during the uncovering phase of forgiveness, you will improve your understanding of the injustice and how it has impacted your life. Use the journal prompt to begin exploring down below. So I'm going to tell Ashley, I want you to describe the injustices that you've endured. What happened and why did you feel like it was unfair? So now we're going to give Ashley a second to, write down how she's feeling or whatever. Y'all gonna have to forgive me because I didn't realize I had all that stuff in the background and stuff. Just looking real hatchet. I'm so sorry, y'all. And I got a pimple on my face, so excuse the little sticker on the side of my face. But hopefully y'all was following along with your girl. So I just got finished filling out this worksheet. I'm acting like I'm Ashley. So now I'm about to ask Ashley, what did she write down on her paper? Because I'm ready for her to give a response. So Ashley is like, the injustices I have endured is I've been lied to. My dad walked out on me. I've been homeless. My mom always picks men over me. And then on the second part where it says, how have the injustices affected you? I want to ask you to talk about how has these feelings made her feel. She circled painful emotions and changed behavior. She put down worthless, hurt, rejected, frustrated, and confused. So this is the last thing that I did with Ashley on this day. And then to wrap up our session, I might have talked with her about some different techniques that she can use to take out her anger on, such as coloring, listening to music, anything that she likes to do that helps her to kind of get away from whatever it is she's currently dealing with. Even meditation. Meditation is a great way to kind of center yourself and focus on something more positive. And you can also kind of imagine yourself being in a place other than that place that you're at currently that might be irritating you in that moment. So I also talked with her a little bit about that as well. So now that I wrapped up my session with Ashley, now we back home. Okay, we can go ahead and start writing our note, which is the worst part of the day if you ask me, but it comes with social work. Any type of social work job you have, you're gonna have to do some type of documentation. So if you're not a writer, you don't like to do no type of papers and this and the third, because that's why y'all got 5,000 papers in school, this probably ain't gonna be the career path for you, honey. I'm gonna be very honest with you. But anyways, so like I said, I created a whole fake note, y'all. So all this stuff up here is fake. The Medicaid number, the name, even the company, everything is fake. So please take it as face value. I just wanted to make sure that I gave you guys the full rundown so y'all can see everything. But just know, for confidentiality reasons and all of that, everything is made up, okay? All right, y'all, so here is our note here or whatnot. Everything is made up, like I said. So to begin off with, we have the consumer's name, which would be Ashley, her Medicaid number, the date of service, when we started the session, and then when we ended the session. The face-to-face would be how many hours you did with the session. The location of service would be where we did it at. So we checked off that we did it at the home. But of course, you have other areas as well that you can check off whenever you have a session. If you went up to the school before, the community, a professional agency, you did it over the phone, wherever it is you may be, you always want to just check off that location. The participants in it would be myself and then Ashley. And then down here is where your treatment plan and your objectives is going to go in this area or whatnot. So this is breaking down Ashley's treatment plan. So this is what we're going to be using to follow our notes along with. Now, understand this, y'all. This part does not change. So you don't have to worry about every time you do the note, this is going to change. This stays the same until you change your treatment plan. Treatment plans are typically done every 3 months or whatnot, depending on your client or whatever. So don't worry about having to do that. But this is just, if you guys want to take a look at it, this is some of the goals and things that we're working on with Ashley to assist her with improving during this time period. Next, we have the type of intervention and session. So we did an individual session. We didn't do a family session today. And then there's the different types of interventions you might have done. You might have done crisis stabilization, care coordination, case management. We put other because I don't feel like none of these really apply to the session we did today. You got the normal interpersonal relationships, risk of social supports because she continues to keep running away from home and stuff like that. So her mother is kind of getting tired of that. Repeated interventions, mental health, because that's what we're talking about. Substance abuse, we don't got to worry about that. Mental, you know, that word won't get flagged. You got training supported, reinforcement, appropriate behavior. So you're just checking off everything that applies to the client. As y'all can see, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so y'all can see. So we checked off crisis plan because we always talking about that, how to care for herself. Contacts with significant others, assistant with medication management, monitoring health, nutrition, and physical condition. And then down here, it's just talking about checking off what kind of behaviors I might have seen. So she was a little hostile and aggressive today, but she was also open to talk in the session as well. You would check off whatever else applies. And then at the bottom here, that's where we're going to get to the nitty-gritty, y'all. So now we are here for the final stretch. We're about to finally start writing a note. So we're going to go back to our interventions that we did. So first things first, we're going to type in the one talking about the emotion wheel because that's what we discussed, right? So what we're going to use this area is how we're going to be able to apply her goal and objective to this intervention we did. So let's look through her treatment plan here and see what kind of goal she has that can be able to go along with this. Let's see. Okay, so we can use this goal right here. It says Ashley will learn appropriate behaviors at home and school. She will learn to replace demanding and oppositional positions for assertive and socially acceptable ones. So instead of her being upset and angry and things of that sort, she can learn to replace with other things. So that'll be our first intervention. So QMHP is the acronym that you're going to use, and we're going to put C because she's a child. So when you do adults, you do A. When you do children, you do C. And if you're in a trainee, which you're not licensed yet for the QMHP thing, you will put T. Okay, so we'll put QMHP provided. Remember, you want to use clinical words. Provided a chart. We're going to put in parentheses. I always put whatever the name of the activity is in parentheses. A motion chart to assist Ashley with being able to discuss her feelings. Go back up to what that goal said. Place demanding behaviors for socially acceptable ones. Okay, so boom. That is that right there. So as y'all can see, I found a way to be able to tie in that goal or whatever into this intervention, and also use the same terminology that I used in that treatment plan up there, so you can be able to see, like, you know, when your supervisor is going over it, they know exactly how you're using this intervention with what goal. You're not just using random interventions, but you have to find a way to tie it back together. So we're going to keep writing this out, and then once I finish writing all of them out, we'll go over it in its entirety, and then we'll move on to the response section.
Drop the roof and let the smoke clear. I got diamonds doing just slides in both ears. Dice falling on the Las Vegas strip tonight.
Okay, y'all, so now we are on the response section or whatnot, and pretty much the response is, like I said before, whatever your client did to respond to the interventions you did with them. So I already started writing it out so you guys can kind of get an idea of it or whatnot, but I'm gonna quickly finish that, and then we're gonna come together and we're gonna read it all, and I'm gonna also show you guys this trick that I use to be able to make sure that my notes sound as grammarly as possible, as far as, you know, clear and concise.
Well, you can do what you wanna, live how you wanna, spin what you wanna, be who you wanna be.
Grammarly is an editor online that can assist you with your grammatical issues and making sure that everything sounds good to go or whatnot. I've been using this since I literally started at the company I work for, but I'm going to continue to use this even after that, because sometimes, you know, when you're tired and you come home and you doing these notes, baby, you gonna end up just sometimes just saying, not I don't want to say anything, but you know, you might repeat a word, you might accidentally say somebody else's name in the note, and it's not that you're like trying to copy or nothing like that, but like literally you just be worn out and tired. So you want to be able to use something that could be able to read it back to you and make sense out of the things you're making. Now, I do feel like, you know, investing in the one that you pay for is probably going to be good. I'm actually planning on investing in that myself, because like I said, I've been using it for years and it definitely works. So at first, my overall score, if you guys didn't see, it was like 50 something, but now it's like an 81. I mean, the goal is to just make sure I feel like it's at least 80 or above or whatnot when it comes to like your note and how good it sounds. So now that we've pretty much ran it through, what I do is I typically read it over in this area as well, just to make sure everything's okay. Just because Grammarly checkers does not mean you need to check it again. Please make sure you check it again, because sometimes Grammarly be putting words and certain stuff in areas and it doesn't make sense. So make sure y'all double check after you run it through here, before you take it back to your actual note page and then get ready to print it or turn it into the digital note processor, however your company decides to do it. We finished our note, we ran it through Grammarly, it sounds good to go. Now I'm going to read it out loud to you guys, and we're going to make sure everything sounds great to turn it in. So starting off with the behavior section, behavior observed. Ashley entered the door appearing to be frustrated based on her not wanting to greet the QMHP. C. Ashley quickly sat down on the couch and began looking at her phone, showing disinterest in the chart presented to her. After redirection, Ashley was able to engage. Now to the interventions part. QMHP provided an emotion chart to assist Ashley with being able to discuss her feelings and replace demanding behaviors with socially acceptable ones. QMHP encouraged Ashley to take a few moments to figure out how she was feeling. QMHP monitored Ashley's ability to do this. QMHP processed Ashley's answers with her once she finished writing them down. QMHP provided a pro-social activity, which is, pro-social activity is a way you dress up the words. Like, if you don't want to just straight up say, like, you played a game of Uno with a client. Like, you want to, again, use clinical terms and stuff. So pro-social activity is always your go-to. If you did, like, a game, if you went out in the community with a client, instead of saying, I took my client to the park, you would say, I took my clients on a pro-social outing. So just wanted to add that in there real quick. She provided a pro-social activity, feelings, to assist Ashley with being able to gain an understanding of managing negative behaviors. QMHP explained the instructions for the activity. QMHP provided the needed materials to engage in this activity. QMHP monitored Ashley's behavior throughout the activity. QMHP processed the activity with Ashley once she finished engaging in it. QMHP introduced Ashley to a worksheet forgiveness to assist her with demonstrating a marked reduction in challenging behaviors. QMHP encouraged Ashley to fill out the worksheet based on her feelings. QMHP encouraged Ashley to share her answers when she finished writing them down. Lastly, the response section. Ashley was hesitant to engage at first when she was presented with the emotion chart. Ashley expressed she was feeling annoyed and upset with the chart after calming down and getting on her phone for a little. Ashley then opened up and apologized for her aggression as she revealed that she got into an argument with Ms. Jones not too long before the QMHP arrived. After identifying her feelings, Ashley was able to engage in the activity and even open up about some things that had been bothering her recently. Ashley concluded the session by writing out how she felt when it came to forgiving others. Ashley identified that she was hurt by her mother and dad and also some of the situations that occurred when she was younger. Ashley said this left her feeling rejected, worthless, and hurt. Ashley continued to open up and be more accepting to hearing coping mechanisms to assist her with improving her feelings. And in the plan of action, I always typically keep it the same because, you know, you're going to always be talking about and encouraging your clients to work on the goals, objectives, and their crisis safety plan. So it says QMHP will continue to build rapport and assist Ashley in developing skills to manage her mental health. My bad, y'all. My daggone camera keep on dying, but I think I pretty much wrapped everything up in a nutshell. I hope I answered all questions, any confusion, anything that you guys need further clarification on. Please write it down in the comments below. I will definitely try to help you guys out to the best of my ability. I truly enjoy doing videos like this and just helping you guys out, you know, who are in the social profession, or if you just watch my videos because you support me, I appreciate that too. As far as when it comes to this type of content, I've had so many people reach out to me like on my Instagram, Twitter, and stuff, asking me just personal questions when it comes to social work and how, like, you know, my videos have really helped them. So that means so much to me. Like, for me, being in school and, you know, looking on YouTube and stuff like that, and I never used to look up social work videos, but to know that I'm out here impacting people when I used to be in y'all same position, like, that means so much to me. So please don't feel afraid to reach out to me. Like, I'm not a mean person. I am super cool, just like how I am on camera. I promise you I'm the same in person. So if you ever have a question about anything and I'm able to get back to you, now I might not get back to you as quick because, you know, my life is busy, but I would definitely try my best to get back to you as soon as I can. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it super insightful. Everything that I talk about in this video will be listed down below as far as information, all that good stuff. If you made it all the way to the end of this video and you still ain't subscribed to the family yet, what are you waiting on? Click on that red subscribe button down below before leaving out. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful and you enjoyed it. And also make sure that you guys are also commenting down below some more things you want to see with me before social work month closes. I definitely wanted to get this video out because this has been long overdue and you guys have been asking for it. So anything else that y'all want to get from me before this month is over, please do so, because this is a great month to be able to just be pushing out a lot of social work content. But anyways, y'all, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and you already know I will see you in my next video. Bye, y'all.